Hi, my name's Joey. I'm an organizer here with WPA, and today we're going to talk about how to share your voice. So, we're going to explore the power of engaging with your coworkers about union issues and how each of us plays a role in making our union stronger. Now, I know that starting conversations about union issues can feel a little bit daunting, especially if you don't know how your coworkers might react. But today, we're going to talk about why that step is so important and also how you can do it effectively and confidently. Remember, the union isn't some far-off entity. It's not just the union staff or even the stewards. The union is you. It is me. It is every one of us here. So let's start by acknowledging something important. When we talk about the union, we're really talking about ourselves, about every worker involved. So when you speak about the union to a colleague, you're not referring to the staff that work at the union. You're referring to yourself, to the coworker you're talking to. You're referring to every other participant inside of our collective union. Our power lies in every individual who decides to take that small step toward collective action by engaging their coworkers to talk about the issues that are currently facing this union, this collection of workers that you both exist inside of. So one of the simplest ways to start these conversations is by wearing your union shirt or any other blue-colored top on a Wednesday. This visual action is a chance for us all to send a unified message. When you wear a blue shirt on a Wednesday alongside your coworkers, that speaks to everyone who sees you, and it says, "Hey, something's going on. And if you don't know what the problem is, ask me about it." And if your coworkers don't ask you first, then that's when you can take the opportunity to start the conversation yourself. Say something like, "Hey, do you know why we're all wearing blue today?" Those small moments are entry points, ways to begin a conversation about the issue that we are all facing in that moment, so that you can share information about that issue and so that you can rally your coworkers to join the effort in future weeks, should that issue remain unresolved. The more participants that we can get in this first step, the more union workers we will have listening for updates and spreading that updated information about the issue. Because if we need to escalate our actions beyond just wearing shirts, whether that be to a picket or to a walkout or to a full general strike, then this action is what ensures that we have a lot of ears listening who are ready to participate in those actions. So once you've sparked someone's curiosity with that initial question, why are we all wearing blue today? The next step is to be ready with like 2 to 3 sentences just to give an introduction to the issue. So this is where we just provide a quick snapshot about what's going on, just enough to give them some initial information. The key here is to just keep it clear, keep it relatable. You don't have to have all the answers. Instead, think of it as opening a door to further dialogue. And that dialogue doesn't have to come from you. It can come from all of your other coworkers or other members inside of the union. This is just the beginning of that conversation. So during any action where we start wearing shirts, WPA will often provide a sample opener that you can use. And it might go something like, "Hey, right now we're dealing with a blank issue. And we're asking everyone to support by wearing blue on Wednesdays. And we're hoping that the employer will blank outcome and we want to show that we're united in that goal. This kind of broad example just gives a quick overview of the issue. It points out our collective action that we're engaging in the moment, which is just wearing shirts and spreading info. And it explains what we're working toward. What is the goal that will help to solve this issue so that we do not have to escalate further? It's simple, it's direct, and it doesn't really require you to have a deep technical knowledge of all the details, just a willingness to share what matters. Now, it's natural for people to have questions, and you don't have to be an expert to help guide them. So if a worker asks you something really basic, like why this issue matters at all or how it affects you personally, then you can rely on your lived experience to relate that issue to yourself and to the conversation that's happening. Now, if questions go beyond your personal knowledge or comfort, then you can rely on the information provided by WPEA to answer. So again, we will make sure to have the resources that you need to respond to the most common questions. But there will be times where someone asks you something that you're not sure about, and it's also not listed in the guide. And that's perfectly fine. The best approach is honesty. You can say something like, hey, that's a great question. I actually don't know the answer today, but let me point you to someone who does know more about that. And then direct them to the right person. That person may be a staff rep, it may be your bargaining rep, it may be a steward, or it may be another member closely involved in the issue, or it could just be an email that you send to the union and then we can direct it to a person if it's like a really broad issue. Just like I said before, when we move to these types of actions, we will send out an introduction and summary example for starting a conversation. We'll send out answers to common questions, and we're going to send out points of contact for you to direct members to if they have more detailed questions. Again, the goal isn't for you to have all the answers in that moment. The best part about being in a union is that you don't have to do anything alone. It is okay to defer to others. The goal here is to share some introductory information, provide resources for more detailed questions, and for you to encourage that member to follow your lead and do exactly what you're doing by wearing blue on a Wednesday and sharing information verbally with those who are not wearing blue that day. So let's use an example to make this even clearer. So this training is being recorded at a time where we're talking about going back to the negotiating table after our membership voted no on a proposed collective bargaining agreement. And this situation is a very broad yet powerful one. It's a sign of our collective voice. We stood together and said, no, not good enough. We need something better. So when you're talking to your coworker, you may start by saying something like, hey, did you hear that we're going back to negotiations? The membership voted not to accept the proposed contract changes, and now we're pushing for more. So the next step is to schedule some bargaining dates. So we're hoping to see some of those scheduled dates at our union meeting later today. And this not only provides information about the issue itself broadly, but it also allows you to overview where we are currently this week. So then if someone asks, well, what happens once we have scheduled dates? Or, well, what are we asking for in those negotiations? You can share what you know, but remember, it's okay to defer them to additional resources like the WPEA website or your local staff rep. This is about building momentum and getting listeners, not about you being an expert on every topic. So, what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is that sharing your voice doesn't have to be complicated. It's your voice. It starts with small, genuine conversations. It starts with wearing blue on a Wednesday and being ready to answer the question, Why are you all wearing blue this time? It starts with you showing up, speaking up, and inviting others to do the same. The union's power is in our unity. It is in our ability to share a common message and in solidarity. And every time you take the opportunity to speak up, you are reinforcing that power. Because remember, you are the union, and so is every one of your coworkers. We are stronger together always. And when we move together and we speak with one voice, that is when we are the strongest. And so let's use that strength to push for what we need, what we deserve, and what we are capable of achieving together. So I want to thank everyone for spending some time with me today. As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to solidarity@wpea.org. We love answering questions, and we look forward to seeing you at our future meetings. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye.